Blog Talk Radio.
Hi folks, I'm Dan McDermott. Welcome. This is McDermott Report. We air every weeknight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. We have a great show tonight. We're going to be talking about Google Plus. Is it a Facebook killer or is it just a shot across the bow? Also, some other things in the news, and I have a rant against Best Buy. I went there to buy, brace yourselves, to buy a cheap VGA cable, and I was shocked that quote-unquote Best Buy has I'll get into it. Just a personal rant. I want to welcome my guest tonight, one of a couple guests I have, Bret Hrbek, who is a business person, also former vice mayor of Front Royal, Virginia. Bret, welcome.
Thank you, Dan. Well, thanks for having me.
Okay, while we get our other guests ready, I want to find out from you, in the news today, Casey Anthony found not guilty of murder, guilty of lying to the police. Also, Dominique Strauss-Kahn, the former head of the International Monetary Fund, who was apparently liked in that role, was accused, and now the case is falling apart. I've heard the saying that a DA, or in the case of Virginia, where you and I live, Commonwealth's attorney could indict a flea or a dog, and the grand jury would approve it if the grand jury was asked to do so by the prosecuting attorney. I don't think I've heard both arguments. My first gut reaction, and something I tweeted, was that clearly we don't look good in the eyes of the world if this person's been falsely accused. A potential future president of France sitting in a jail cell, perhaps innocent. And apparently this case, this woman is, I heard today, the latest thing I heard was that she had, is now suing a newspaper because of these allegations that she was allegedly turning tricks or providing services in the halfway house, the protective house, halfway house they had her in. What's your gut reaction about? Do we have a black eye, or do we have a nice image in that? Yeah, they screwed up, but the truth came out, perhaps, or at least it was the prosecutor's own investigator, not the defense team, that discovered all these alleged falsehoods in what the accuser in the case of Dominique Strauss-Kahn was saying.
Well, I don't know that there should be any black eye. I think it's our criminal justice system at work, and as you pointed out, it was the prosecution that discovered the errors. It's always embarrassing, obviously, when something like that happens, or when you lose a case, a high-profile case like the Casey Anthony case this afternoon. But I think you point out that this is our justice system at work, and obviously laws are laws, but the people that run them and interpret them and enforce them are human, and we're going to have errors. I'm glad that if this is the case, that the innocent walk and the government bows its head down and says and issues an apology and makes whatever retribution it needs to make. But I point to this, and I would, as you suggested, point to it and say this is the United States at work, and we're one of the few countries out there that probably would admit an error or let somebody off because of that's for the grander purposes of making sure that we abide by the rule of law. So I'm not embarrassed by it at all.
Okay. What about have you been following this Casey Anthony story at all? Kind of tabloidy.
I've been following it as much as you watch when you watch the news in the morning when you're getting ready to go to work. I mean, I know that this girl, her daughter, was murdered, or who died at least. There's the allegation that the mother did it, and it looked like the jury was pretty set on finding a not guilty her not guilty in the matter. Whether she did it or not, as far as I'm concerned, apparently she didn't, and the jury obviously did not think there was enough evidence to prove her guilt. And again, it's unfortunate she actually was the murderer, and she gets to walk free. She's going to have to live with that the rest of her life. I just find it hard to believe as a father that you could ever do that, for one, but then be able to live with yourself knowing that you did do that to your own child. So she's going to have to walk with a punishment that's far greater, I think, than we could impose on her. But perhaps, but the jury felt that there wasn't enough evidence to convict, and I certainly applaud the jury's decision if that's the case. Perhaps the prosecution should have gone after such a steep offense. I personally am not a fan of the death penalties in most cases, and maybe if they were seeking something a little lesser than the whole enchilada, so to speak, then maybe they would have gotten something else.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you before we go to, I've got an expert from Vancouver about to come on and talk about Google+. You are a Facebook fan, a Facebook user. Tell me, what do you think about Facebook just in general?
Well, I am a Facebook fan. I think it's a great tool for communication between friends and family members, especially reconnections of old relationships and even distant relatives, and the ability to watch each other's families grow up as you put pictures of your children and grandchildren up on Facebook, and of course with all the privacy concerns, making sure that they're secured to only the people, friends, and family that you have. But I think it's a great tool. I think it's a wonderful thing. It obviously, as any tool could be, it could be used for bad and evil. It could be used for good things. I've used it. I use it for my political campaigns and my political issues that I try to put out there. I've used it for at least 2 or 3 organizations and groups that I run or are involved with to get communications out there and keep us front and center in front of a list of supporters. I use it personally as a communication device to family and friends, and to share pictures and share stories and share just those random thoughts that come in your head in the middle of the afternoon that you just want to share with somebody and you're sitting in your office by yourself. And then I know businesses use it. My full-time day job, my firm has a Facebook page that they use to promote some stuff, and I've helped some of my clients and other folks set up Facebook pages in order to promote their businesses. And again, posting stuff every day, a couple of times a day, keeps you on the top of people's streams and top of mind when they're thinking about whatever service that you're doing. So I think it's a great tool, but I know it can be used for not so good things, but hopefully for the most part, most people use it for positive impact on their community.
All right. Well, I know that I'm trying to get you to get on this new service. It's called Google+, and we're going to have a lot of folks watching this after the fact, listening to the podcast or watching the video. But I want to bring in Daniel, who's a new buddy of mine from Vancouver. Daniel, welcome. Thanks for calling in tonight.
Hi.
Okay, Daniel, I saw you on Google+, and I noticed on your page that you were giving a bunch of advice to folks about how to use it, how to embed rich text in your posts, that sort of thing. And it's interesting. It's going back and forth. Folks, it's up, it's down. You can add someone, you can't add someone. Then it's wide open. Anybody can join. And then no, you can't even get a referral. So it's still definitely in beta. First of all, we both used it for a few days. How long have you been on, and what are your initial thoughts about this new social network, this new foray into social media by Google called Google+?
I've been on it for about 2 days now, and I can tell you that I am definitely hooked on that site. When Facebook first came out, you know that the whole feeling you got where you're on it all day when you had no friends.
Yes.
And then you stop using Facebook. Well, I'm getting that same feeling right now with Google+. I'm loving the site. I think I don't know if they meant to hold on. Let me try and word this right. I think.
Do you think that it was?
Go ahead. The bigger picture that they have for the whole site, it's great. I mean, I think it's gonna like I said, it's gonna take down BlackBerry and Apple at the same time.
Really? You said that to me earlier. I want to get into that. You said it's going to kill BlackBerry Messenger.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Okay, BlackBerry Messenger. You can only talk to someone who has a BlackBerry. You can't talk to anyone who has an Apple, right? Or an Android phone, right? I mean, there are third-party apps that you can use to talk to them, right? And Apple's coming out with the iMessage for the iOS 5, which is basically the same thing as BlackBerry. It's a messenger that's that's only meant so you can talk to another iPhone user. You can't talk to a BlackBerry user or an Android user, right? So if you're on the computer or whatnot, and someone messages you have to look at the phone. You can't just put it down. But what Google does is they have Google Talk or Google Chat, which is already integrated into Gmail. So if you have a Gmail account, you already have Google Talk, and Google Talk is pre-installed in your BlackBerry device, and it comes pre-installed on Android phones. Right? It's basically like MSN Messenger or AOL or all those IMs on the computer, but the only difference is it allows multiple connections. So the whole thing I like is the syncing of conversations. So I can start talking to you on Google Talk on my computer at home, and let's say I have to go to the office. I can pick up the phone, log in from there, and all the conversation that we've had on the computer, it's on the phone. Everything you've said and I typed, it's now on the phone. And I continue talking to you on the phone. I get to the office, sit down on the office computer, log in from there, and everything I've typed on the phone is now on my office computer. It's on the screen. So I can continue talking to you on the computer and the phone, like it's all seamlessly. I won't have to pick up my phone anymore. So if I'm all zoned in, do my work on my computer, I'm there. I don't have to leave the computer. And Google Talk, you can use it to talk to all the phones out there and computer, and I think that's gonna just kill BlackBerry Messenger and Apple's iMessage.
Okay, now I have a BlackBerry. I'm a fan. If I had an iPhone, I would probably never use my BlackBerry. But I know that Google Plus does not have a native app yet for the BlackBerry. I think they said that
there actually is one. Yes.
Oh, there is one. When did this happen? Because there wasn't before. There was just it was a link to get to their online webpage.
I know there was a Google Talk app for at least, I think, 2 years now. I've seen
for Google Talk. Okay, I see what you're saying for Google Talk. I think this gets to another thing, and Bret, you can chime in because you're still on. This is. I bet there were a lot of folks, and I've heard folks talk about this. There are a lot of Google services like Picasa, which maybe nobody ever used. Google Docs, some people have used. It's quite ghetto compared to OpenOffice or any Microsoft Word, the Office suite. But it's free for like you and me to use. If you're RIM, Research in Motion back in your country of Canada, then it's you pay X amount per year per user. It's still dirt cheap. It's all about being on the cloud, but I think that you're going to see an effect of this. I don't know if it was intended. I assume it was because there's a smart guys at Google. But this is going to get a lot of people to start using Google services that they weren't using before, like you said, Google Talk. Yeah,
I think that was their whole big picture from the get-go of the whole Google Plus.
Okay, Bret, tell me. I know you have. You're a husband and a father, so I've texted you, but do you have, what kind of phone do you have, Bret?
iPhone.
Okay, you have an iPhone. So, and you are not yet, although I invited you, but I think you're caught in the nexus of wanting it but not on it yet. And oh gosh, it's another social network to learn. What do you think? What before you've used it, because you're not a tech geek. You're a political junkie like I am, and you're interested in technical things, but I don't think you live, breathe, and sleep tech the way I do or the way Daniel might. The reason that Facebook has been so strong is that your grandma's on it, your mom and dad are on it, your kids are on it, your long-lost ex-girlfriend or boyfriend, the roommate from high school. We've all had stories like this. If you use Facebook, you've done so. I wonder whatever happened to Joey. Or Lisa, and oh man, they're on. Hey, how's it going? It's been 25 years. Oh, you're a doctor now, or oh, I'm sorry, you're in prison. Whatever. Are those folks, are the soccer moms and the grandparents that have made Facebook more popular than MySpace? Really, I think that's the big thing, is that it wasn't just for kids. It was easy to use and adopted by everyone. Do you think that, are they going to? I mean, what's your inclination? Do you think this is something I don't want to do, or I don't want to do, or I'm a little excited about it?
Well, I when you sent it to me this afternoon, I tried to open it up, and I was told that they were closed for new subscribers right now, as a matter of fact. So maybe I hit the wrong place. But I think that these kind of technologies, they obviously are going to take time to catch on, and I'm happy to jump on it and try it out, and we'll see what happens. If it becomes more exciting and user friendly, and you start getting the buzz around, you'll start seeing more and more people use it, obviously, and that's an exciting thing. I'll tell you, it seems like, at least for a relatively rural community like Front Royal, where I live, it took long enough for folks to jump on Facebook, and now all of a sudden you start seeing a lot more people in this kind of area and community jumping on that kind of technology. So I can't speak for the metro areas, but I think it will. It just takes a while for people to really catch on and understand it. I mean, LinkedIn's another example where LinkedIn really, even out here, hasn't done too much. You find some people that are LinkedIn on it, but not nearly as many as Facebook. So will it happen? It depends on if it's consumer friendly and they spend enough time promoting it, I guess.
Okay, let me go back to Daniel, and what I'm going to do while Daniel's talking, I'm going to play around with this thing and show people. I hope I don't have any. I don't have anything embarrassing on Google Plus yet, so I can just go to it. I'm just kidding. But anyway, Daniel, you what? Just give me a brief rundown. Now, I mean, you go to it. You've got your home post, and then for folks watching, and this is on Ustream. If you go to McDermottReport.com, you can see it. And anyone's going to call in, make sure you turn the volume down because there's a delay. But Daniel, tell me if you were trying to explain to your grandma who's on Facebook why she should check out Google Plus, what would you tell her?
If I was to explain to my grandmother?
Yeah, or to someone, your the soccer mom, anybody who's not a technical geek per se, but uses Facebook. Why should they check out this Chrome thing? I mean, the Google Plus. Excuse me.
Well, I guess it'd be the same reason why I would tell them to go on Facebook, right? I mean, if they want to see what I'm up to or whatnot, then they'll have to sign up for Google Plus. I mean, if you already have a Gmail account, you're pretty much set for Google Plus already, right? It's
right.
It's all integrated. But I think people are going to move away from Facebook, and if no one's going to be on Facebook, then there really is no use for some people to sign up for Facebook no more. So if everyone leaves Facebook and goes to Google Plus, I think if your family member wants to follow you and see what you're up to, they're gonna be forced to sign up for it and follow you, right? But
Right.
I do see people leaving Facebook. I don't think it's gonna be a really fast move. I think it's gonna be a slow move. But I see them leaving Facebook because, I mean, we've all heard the problem where someone goes for an interview for a job, and then the employer searches their name on Facebook, and then they see them partying or whatnot, and it makes them look bad, right? I mean,
Yes.
Facebook, when you share something, you're sharing to everyone, and I think that's the big appeal of Google Plus. When you share something, you're not sharing it to everyone, right? Like if you're going out getting drunk one night and then there's a ton of pictures of you and you want to share that to all your party friends, you can do that. All you gotta do is create a party friend circle, and when you share those pictures, you just share to that one circle, right? So if a potential employer goes online to see what you're up to, they won't see those pictures because you haven't shared it to the public, right?
Right.
So I think when everyone starts to see that and start to see that it's a lot more private than it is Facebook, I think people are just gonna start moving over to Google Plus.
I think so too. I think as you look at this, the basic thing, I saw a cartoon, it's pretty funny, and I wish I could link to it. I can't remember where I saw it. I think I saw it in TechCrunch. Someone's saying, hey, you got to try Google Plus. It's not Facebook. And the person says, what does it look like? Facebook. And it does. It looks a lot like Facebook. And again, some of what I'm talking about would make more sense if you're watching the video. It's at McDermottReport.com, or if you can find it on Ustream. But in a nutshell, you get there and it looks a lot like Facebook. I'm gonna go to my Facebook stream, and there you have the stream of what everyone's doing in the middle. On the left, I've got different places I can go, and on the right, my event calendar and some suggestions on folks I may know. And then let's go over to Google Plus, and in the center I have a stream from everyone. I see Daniel, you're there. And then on the left I have places I can go, and then on the right I have some of my friends and some suggestions. I mean, it's basically very much like Facebook, except it's not Facebook. And I think Facebook came up in a list of the top 10 things people hate, along with the IRS. And it's sort of like everyone's there, so you use it because everyone's there. But there have been all these things about the privacy concerns. Everyone, I won't join Facebook because I'm concerned about my personal data, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of those things were blown out of proportion in my, except one thing that caused Leo Laporte, one of my heroes, to quit Facebook for a time, is that they, by default, would make everything public when really it should have been, by default, private. And then, because it's not like Twitter where everything's going to be public. This is the whole thing. You can only add someone theoretically, and a friend, and then they have to approve you. So by definition, the way it's set up, one would assume that there are limits to what different people can see. And so that was a criticism. And Google has not really, I mean, they've had some hiccups, but they don't have the same reputation. You don't see people making movies trashing, the founders of Google. So I'm excited about it. And what Daniel was talking about is these circles. You have different circles. You can add anybody. They don't have to approve you. You can just stick them. Like I have my friends here, and I've added some that haven't accepted yet. And then Emily, who's on the show frequently, she's there. And then I can look and like Daniel, let's go to his profile. Oh gosh, profile, Daniel. I'm trying to find you here. I'll go to Daniel, and I see I see people who are in his circles. When you talk about circles, it's in a nutshell, it's this. You have your innermost circle, your family. Then you have your friends. Then you have people I met at school or a bar or whatever. And then people I don't know who they are, but they added me and I want to be polite and I'm going to add them back. So different circles. And you may want to share certain things with certain groups. Like Daniel said, that picture of you that might be embarrassing to a prospective employer, you might want to only share with your friends, not folks you don't know, etc. If Daniel's promoting a new website he's doing or a product or something, then you might want to share it with everybody. So the circle's a big thing. Now, Daniel, you'll agree that Facebook has a similar function list. It's just much more difficult to use compared to the circles. I mean, you definitely prefer the circles, Daniel.
I actually don't know. I've kind of given up on Facebook a few years ago. My girlfriend uses my Facebook account now to play her Facebook games, but I haven't really touched Facebook, so I can't really comment on anything about Facebook really. I just from what I know from the past.
Okay, I know that. How did you have a bunch of people, 153 people? How did all these people find out you exist? I actually most of them are Google employees. I made a Google circle, and I just added a bunch of them to my Google circle, and to see what they're up to, or what the whole site's up to stay updated. Right.
And I don't know how everyone found me. I guess through the post I've made. I guess people shared that, and then they shared that again, and then on the line, and I guess people found me from that, and then I guess found me interested and then added me. I really don't. I don't know. I haven't been promoting myself or anything, or yeah.
Yeah, I noticed. What are some of the quirks you've seen so far? Because folks should know that this isn't perfect. Like I tried to invite Tom Anderson, who we've had email or on MySpace we've chatted before, and I tried to invite him. He's a former president of MySpace on the show because he's on Google Plus and he likes it and he's written nice things about it. And of course, he knows what it's like to have a social network currently under assault by another competitor. But it said that I had sent too many messages out, and I think the only two that I had sent were one to you and one to Leo Laporte at Twit to send him a link about a story they were doing. And so on my third attempt, it said you can only send so many a week. So I guess you could send 2 a week, but I'm sure that's a glitch and they'll fix that. But what are some of the things that you've seen other than you can add somebody, you can't add somebody, now you can, it's just open for anybody, oh, it's totally closed, okay, now you can add somebody again. What are some of the things you've seen that might throw people off as they try to adopt this?
Let me think about that. Well, I guess the main thing is not being able to sign up to Google Plus right now because they've closed invitations and signups, right? But they've actually even said that they released Google Plus before it was ready. So I think what they want to do right now is not really release it to the public, but just release it to a small group of people, so they can get some feedback from them and then further improve on the site. Because there are some bugs with the site right now that I do see, but it's nothing big. I mean, the one big one that I ran into was losing all the emails that I've sent you and you sent me. Right, I had to go back onto your profile to find the number to call in. Another one would be
interesting, because I had mine in Gmail.
Yeah, I had mine in Gmail too, but I went to go look for it after I got out of my meeting and it wasn't there. I think what might have happened. Well, I think what might have happened was I don't know. I took a nap and I had my phone on my chest, and I might have rolled around and might have maybe deleted the emails or something. I can't really figure out another reason why it would be gone, but it's
because I'm looking here. You're correct. I go to the inbox, and I see. Well, actually, I see. Okay, I see. Yeah, I see the previous messages. But okay. Yeah, I've still got it, I think. Yeah, I've still got it in my Gmail.
I have no emails from you at all.
Interesting.
There are some issues about it being laggy with the notifications on the phone and the website and email. You'll get an email saying that people have commented on your post or something, but then when you go onto the Android app, it's not quite there yet. So there is some lag with that, but I don't think that will deter anyone really. I don't know. I love the site. I absolutely love it. So I'm a little biased and I can't. It's a hard one. I don't know.
Okay. All right, Bret. So far, what are your thoughts? I mean, does this sound, from what you've heard? I mean, have people talked about this and discussed it? Is this? I know for tech people, this is all the rage, but on Main Street, what are folks saying?
They're saying, how do I set up a Facebook page?
Oh, no.
They're trying to still figure that technology out, I think, out in non-tech world. But I think as it catches on and as more and more people talk about it, and it certainly sounds very, very interesting, and certainly a good way, as has been pointed out, it sounds like, to be able to protect your privacy a lot more. So I'm pretty excited about going on there and trying it myself. But again, you got a lot of small business owners who are afraid of the computer to begin with, much less some of these other technologies. So we'll see what happens, but I certainly look forward to jumping on there and trying to figure it out myself.
Daniel, one of the things I'm really excited about, the circles, and just it's simpler. I don't know if I like it because it's just new, because it's way scaled down compared to Facebook. What I do like about it, I don't like being bombarded that Bret is on Farmville and wants me to feed his pigs or wants to give me a rooster.
That's one of the main reasons why I left Facebook. I hated those.
Yeah, so, that just, yeah, I mean,
I totally understand, yeah.
I know I don't want to join your whatever thing. And, if you have something interesting to share, okay, fine. But that's the reason I stopped using on Facebook. I'll show it here on Facebook. You can sort your feed, your news feed. You can sort by most recent, or you can sort by most relevant. And they do a pretty good job. I know Leo and the gang, they were discussing the fact that Facebook is good at finding at relevant search, finding the things based on who you talk to and the kind of things you're interested in, at putting things up there that are relevant to you. And but yeah, I will not. I hope that they don't monetize Google Plus in that way. But Google has a long history of having stuff that isn't monetized at all. I don't think right now there's not a single ad on this, and there are ads in search, et cetera. And I wouldn't mind some ads in here at all if I want them to make money, so they keep doing this. And there's obviously a big cost involved in maintaining this kind of thing that apparently is, to use their word, growing at an insane rate. But I'm excited about it, and I'm surprised. Have you heard any tech journalist on any of the shows say anything bad about it? I'm shocked that everybody, the harshest critics, the guys on TechCrunch, who if something's screwed up, they'll tell you. Everybody on Twit, all the folks I read at Ziff Davis and everything, is universally praising it and excited about it, and saying, this column was late because I was playing with Google Plus all day. Have you seen anything negative about it thus far? No,
I haven't. No, everything I've seen was all praise as well. I think why people like it so much is you have options now. It's what you want to do. It's what you want to see, who you want to post to. If you don't want to see something, you can choose to look at a stream from another circle, right? It's now your choice. It's what you want to do. Where with Facebook, when someone plays a game, or I don't know why you would see those Farmville posts, but it's there, and it gets annoying. There is no option to mute those posts, right? So it wasn't your option with Facebook. With Facebook, it was the games developers choice, right? It's you see what they want you to see. Where now it's you see what you want to see, and I think with the whole your choice thing, I think that's why everyone is liking it so much. It's more freedom now, is what it is.
Right. Okay. I'll do a brief thing. I want to bring Bret in here to talk about, and I want to ask Daniel about RIM, and because he's in Canada and he's a tech guy. But I just want to briefly say that one of the things that I think is really neat is what Daniel's talking about. Is I can look for somebody. Let's say Michael Arrington. He's the editor founder of TechCrunch. So I'm going to type Michael ARR, Michael Arrington, enter, and I see him there. His Google profile. And he's on there, so I want to add him, add to Circles. I'll just click right there. I'm going to add him to my Circles influencer. So now I've added him. And he doesn't have to approve it or whatever. I guess he could block me if I wanted. But if you notice here, there are 5,000 people who have added him to their Circles. He's added 87 people. And then some of these folks, it's kind of neat because, like Michael Dell is on here. And I've got him in a circle, Michael Dell. Let me look him up. And he has been, he's in my influencer circle. Just, he was, I guess, he did a hangout with 21 people. And a hangout is like chat with video. And it's just like it's more social than Facebook in that it's actually like what you would do. You would go to a room or a coffee shop, bar, whatever, and there might be friends, and you can sit there and hang out. You can just observe and watch, or you can engage and talk. And so you get into these hangouts, and so I guess he's just doing it with just these random guys, who jump in while he's on. And he did it, at 4:35 p.m. So that's pretty cool. And this could be your chance to, get Michael Dell to give you some tech support for your Dell computer or whatever. But okay, so it's neat, and obviously we all recommend everyone try it. We're trying to get Bret on here because he needs to be on it so he can join in this more. Okay, Bret, I want to get both of you guys on this because you are you don't work for Research in Motion, right, Daniel?
No.
Okay, what are your thoughts? They're getting beat up a lot. I like BlackBerry. I like Research in Motion. I think their products are great. They still have a large percentage of the market, but they're constantly getting beat up. The CEO's getting beat up. There have been internal memos leaked that are questioning the overall direction of the company. They're losing market share. Their last big product, which was sort of really needed to be great, you don't hear about anybody talking about what the playbook. What's going on at RIM? Are they headed down the way that Palm was, or are they just having a bump in the road?
I personally, I think they've made a few bad decisions in the past. I mean, with their main people like BlackBerry right now only because of the email and the BlackBerry Messenger right now, right? So I've had friends who only got a BlackBerry just for BlackBerry Messenger, right? But that goes back to the whole Google talk and the closed IM thing. I don't understand what the whole appeal is with the BlackBerry Messenger. You can only talk to someone who has a BlackBerry. So I don't see the appeal of that. And what RIM did was they actually closed the whole protocol, so no other developer were allowed to create an application that could use the protocol for the BlackBerry Messenger.
Was that for security reasons to keep it tight? Daniel, was that for security reasons to keep it tight, or sort of like what Twitter's done, where they don't want anybody invading their turf development-wise because they want to because they don't make any money from it? It's just a draw. They don't charge for it. No, in fact, it's a way to do an end run around the carriers and basically. For folks who don't have a BlackBerry, what BlackBerry Messenger is, it's like a text message on steroids. It's better than texting. It's free with any. There's no 160 character limit. It's faster. It's great. But it only works for another BlackBerry user, as Daniel's saying.
It's like MSN Messenger, but for your phone.
Right.
Is what it is. It's
definitely faster.
It's an instant messenger for a phone.
And a lot of it's all the rage with a lot of young folks. A lot of young people like it because, especially in countries, or if they have parents, if there's a bunch of kids and they're on plans where they have limited text messaging, they don't have to. It doesn't use up your texting, which is the most overpriced thing in the world.
And it uses data, but they've been downloading third-party applications to talk to their friends that don't have BlackBerry, like WhatsApp. WhatsApp you can download to talk to someone who has an iPhone, but then the iPhone user would have to download WhatsApp as well, right?
Yeah.
I don't see the whole appeal of BlackBerry Messenger. I mean, but I've had a BlackBerry since the very first BlackBerries. I had the RIM 950 back when it was called a pager still. It ran off a AA battery. It lasted 2 weeks, and I used to be a hardcore BlackBerry fanboy, and then I found Android, and that just opened up my eyes to what I've been missing out. I mean, it's very limited to what you can do on a BlackBerry. Right, and BlackBerry purposely closed off that protocol. I think because they wanted to keep it to themselves in order for people to buy a BlackBerry. I mean, if they were to open it up, they could have made money off licensing,
right?
But then people would put that technology into other phones, and then they won't be buying BlackBerries anymore. They'd be buying an Android if Android had that technology on the phone, right? So they would be losing a lot of sales on the actual device itself. So I think they closed it off because they thought that they could I guess take advantage of that. But I know they just recently opened up the protocol, right? But I think now it's a little too late, right? So I think that they made a few bad decisions, and yeah.
Okay, I want to bring Bret in on something. I want to ask Bret, first of all, have you ever had a BlackBerry? I know you're an iPhone user now. What'd you have before that?
Some Nokia phone, I think.
Oh wow!
No, I'm not. I can't remember what it was.
You took a giant leap forward. You went from that's like a bag. No, I'm just kidding.
I had the kind of phone that Zach Morris had back on Saved by the Bell. Walk around with my bag. No, I never had a BlackBerry, and I mean, I know a lot of folks in Washington D.C., attorney friends of mine and political friends of mine use it all the time. But I mean, I kind of think of it as almost as the brand as anything else. Is that because my iPhone will do everything I think the BlackBerry would do, and but they can't get away from it. And frankly, a lot of them have their BlackBerries for work, and then they carry a second phone for their own personal stuff. So they're carrying around two phones. But
yeah, you see a lot of folks, especially if they get a BlackBerry, if they have an enterprise server. I think the town employees, I don't know, I think they have an enterprise server, but they all have, like Mike Graham, former town manager, Front Royal, he had his super secret phone number, which I was honored to have, and then he had his government phone number. And a lot of that is because in Virginia and most of the U.S. or in the United States, we have the FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act, and so it was kind of like anything that happened on your government phone could be FOIA'd or requested by a journalist or whatever, but your personal phone was your personal business. So you'd have both because you want to call the wife about whatever, and then you might get a business call at home that would be FOIAble, and you might have a personal call at work, so you'd want your personal phone. Let me ask you, Daniel, do you have, I know, Bret, you've used Bret, do you have Netflix?
Yep. Okay,
and you've used a Redbox?
No, I've not used Redbox, although I'm inclined to. And I'll tell you the reason why we ultimately moved to Netflix was because we had two video stores here in Front Royal, and both of them closed. One of them was a regional store, movie gallery, and the other one was Blockbuster. When Blockbuster went through their major downsizing and closing up their shops, all of a sudden my wife turned to each other. We turned to each other and said, we have no place that we can run a movie in our community. And we said, well, I guess it's time to go to Netflix. And I'll tell you what, I'm not sure how parents raised our generation without all these gadgets, because we must have been horrible people, bears, because the fact that I can stream Netflix either on my television through the Wi-Fi in my house, I can get it on my iPhone, I can get it on my iPad, I can get it on the computer, and we can watch movies that are out right now. That's a pretty awesome thing. And we do have a lot of red boxes in the area, and I think this is maybe this is an example of President Obama saying that technology is keeping people out of work because they don't have to hire any more Blockbuster folks because you got a red box sitting in our grocery store. But no, I think these are great conveniences and a very efficient way of getting these media sources out.
It's definitely devalued in the consumer's mind. It's devalued the value of a movie. I know if you can get it, $15 a month, or I think there's like a $9.95. They have it in you're in Vancouver. They've got Netflix in Canada, but I think it's $1 less or $1 more than the United States. Daniel?
I'm not sure. I don't use Netflix.
What do you use? What do you do besides? You sit at the computer. I don't know how you're skinny. How are you skinny?
I work a lot.
I hear you.
I don't really watch TV that much. I mean, I used to have cable. Then I found Hulu. I just watch TV off Hulu whenever I have time. But I spend most of the time of the day just working. I run around a lot.
Okay.
So.
By the way, folks, go ahead, Bret.
Hulu's a great service too. In order to watch old TV shows that have been out of circulation for a long time, TBS hasn't decided to run them constantly on their reruns, but and that's for pay. And then there's also free ones on Hulu. The other one we use is Vudu, VUDU, I think. which is a subscription service that came with when we got our Blu-ray player. Again, it just goes to the internet, and you can just download the movie, or you can buy it or rent it, and just very convenient. I know a lot of folks that I've talked to lately, they don't even have cable come into their house because they watch all their television shows on the internet, whether it's Hulu or whether it's just streaming right off of the network's website. So there's certainly a change in coming in the Hollywood entertainment business.
Okay, and I one of the problems I have is I went to the store the other day, and I was just on an impulse. I think I only had one Star Trek episode left on my Netflix CD or DVD, and so I wanted to get a movie. So I rented from the Redbox. It was $1, and it was the movie about Secretariat, the horse. And so I got home, and I fired up Netflix just out of curiosity. I see Netflix had it, so I wasted $1. I could have watched it on Netflix. And now the televisions are amazing. I've got behind me, this is a 32-inch Vizio from Sam's Club. It's about a $500 TV because it's LED and it's 120 hertz. I'm not sure what that means, but that's better than the other one, 60 hertz. And so anyway, it has Netflix built into the TV, and it streams it. It looks, I swear, guys, it's amazing. I didn't know it could look so good. When you stream Netflix, and there's no extra cost, right? You just log in and set it up, and then it streams it to your television. It looks like broadcast high definition television. I can't tell the difference between watching Lost on my television, and it even has a wireless internet built into the TV. It's amazing. But there's no difference between looking at a CBS or ABC, NBC affiliate or PBS versus Netflix as far as the picture quality. It's really astounding. And it's dirt cheap. And now Netflix is streaming. I don't know if you're a Star Trekkie. I imagine Daniel is. But now they've got all of the Star Trek TV series, except they don't have Deep Space Nine, which is one of my favorites. I'm not a big fan of the original. Maybe once in a while, maybe because I watched it so much growing up. But I love Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and I'm watching The Next Generation now. It's just it takes you away from reality. You get 40 minutes of Worf being awesome, but it's cool now because I don't have to get the DVDs. I can just I can stream them. Are you a Star Trekkie, Daniel?
I only like The Next Generation. I'm a big Picard fan. I don't like any of the other ones. Only The Next Generation.
Oh man, I loved. Now we're totally geeking out. Now I loved Deep Space Nine. I can't remember the names. It was. I
can't believe you're making me admit this.
I know. You've just 17 people have just removed you from their circles on Google Plus. But no, I like it. I like the Deep Space Nine's a whole different thing. But I love the aspect of Odo, the changeling, and the battling with his home world. It's just really cool. But like anything else, you watch it enough. Are you a Star Trekkie, Bret?
No, unfortunately. Fortunately, I fall on the Star Wars side. That's where I grew up watching Star Wars, and my kids are addicted to it now too. So I know there's a battle between Trekkies and Star Wars guys, but no, mine is a Star Wars.
I think that eventually you'll mature into a Trekkie. I'm just kidding. Of course, you don't know because Bret's a politician, right? So we don't know, if he's speaking, if he's actually got like a Star Trek uniform in his closet for all we know.
I can almost recite all three of the original Star Wars movies, and then I can barely tell you what happened in any of the Star Trek ones. So
I remember the funniest Star Trek story, and then I'll get off that topic. I remember back, I don't know if it was the 90s or whatever, but there was a jury, and one of the jurors was in this beautiful woman, and every day she would show up in full Star Trek uniform. And it wasn't enough to get her kicked off the jury. So every day she'd come out, and CNN was there. And I think the only reason it was news was because this woman was dressed this way. It wasn't a big case. Mm-hmm. I want to ask you, Daniel. You hadn't quite hung out with us yet. Tell me. I know that Canada news is often news in the United States, and U.S. news is often news in Canada. What's your impression of the coverage or your thoughts on the Dominique Strauss-Kahn story, the head of the International Monetary Fund who was jailed for rape, and now it looks like the case is falling apart. Do you have an impression of the U.S. justice system or how they performed in that case? Or I don't know if did the Casey Anthony sort of a tabloidy case, the woman who was accused and now today was found not guilty of murdering her daughter. How much of an impact did either of those stories have in the Canadian media, and what are your thoughts?
I know there has been some coverage on it. I personally myself have not been following it lately because I've been concentrating on doing research for other things. I'm actually in the business industry, so I've been really focusing on muddy water, the whole muddy water thing. So my whole focus on the news is it's a little different. So I know they have been covering it though. I just have been following myself.
Okay. All right, and okay, Bret, I know you got a couple things, and we'll see if we can find something Daniel can weigh in on. And we got about 5 more minutes, I guess. Bret, I guess you're not supporting him, but it certainly would be interesting. Tell me about what's going on with Andrew Cuomo. I assume it's not Mario.
Well, yes, Andrew, the current governor of New York. Looked like there was a rumor floating around Washington for a while that the president may dump Biden as his running mate in 2012, and look towards Mr. Cuomo, Governor Cuomo, as his running mate. That seems to have been stifled and squashed. I can't imagine that there would have to be somebody better than the current vice president to run with him, but I can't understand why anybody would want to jump on that ticket right now. So, but there was that was just one of those things, goes around Washington for a little while. A lot of people talking about it, and you probably saw the people playing odds out there in Vegas on if it was true or not. But New York Times floated the idea yesterday, I think, and the White House shot that down real quickly. So staying behind the vice president and protecting him for whatever reason they think is important, because I would dump that man as soon as I could.
I like him. I think he's great. He's great on TV. I mean, you never know what he's a big effing deal, right?
He's good entertainment value, but I don't know how. If you were asking about if the court system, the judicial system in this country was embarrassing the country across the globe, I'd say there's at least one person, if not two, in the White House that are doing a pretty good job at that. So, Mr. Biden
in Canada, Daniel? What has that got any play? Joe Biden is known for his over the top gaffes, but he's sort of a likable guy, but he makes these stupid mistakes. Has that got any play in Canada, Daniel?
No, I don't think so. I haven't heard anything about it, so no.
And I know one thing that I heard criticism is that Canada had a really interesting, a big deal election, and it hardly got any play in the United States. I think something else was going on, but I heard a lot of folks, you'd see it on NPR, PBS, that kind of thing. But everyone, just like here, we're so into really irrelevant things like this Casey Anthony trial, just because it's tabloid and interesting, so everyone's talking about it, when really there's, Greece and Portugal. I mean, there's bigger stories to talk about, but they're not as sexy, I guess. But I guess Canada has a pretty strong state media, right? I mean, you have, I guess, your CBS, or is that a U.S. thing, or is that everywhere? They go for the sexy, salacious stories instead of what's relevant, because that seems to be where the audience wants them to go.
No, I think it's all about the sexy stories. I mean, I've been noticing a lot more tabloid stories in the local papers now too. So I think it's just what people really. It's not the issues that matter. It's just what people really want to read, I guess.
Right.
It's all the sexy stories. What Angelina Jolie is up to. What Lady Gaga is up to. Why she's wearing all that weird shit. Oh, am I allowed to say that? I'm sorry.
we can fix it. Okay, and then Bret's gonna talk about Michael Vick. Did you heard about him? He's the football player who was involved from Virginia, where we were both at, who was involved in some dog fighting. I'm just trying to gauge. If you haven't, it's okay. I'm just trying to gauge some of these stories if they have any coverage in Canada.
Yeah. My girlfriend's a really big animal lover, so it's just, that's not a good topic.
Yeah, so she probably agrees with Nike on this. And Bret, tell us what's going on with this story.
Well, it looks like Nike has re-signed Michael Vick as a spokesman after they terminated his contract in August of 2007 after Vick pled guilty to his involvement in the dog fighting ring that he had in his backyard down in Virginia Beach. He signed with Nike in 2001, and of course he's an alumnus of Virginia Tech, where I went to school, and we went to school at the same time. I'm a little older than him, but I watched him play most of his home games. I would go down and watch him, and he was absolutely a phenomenal college football player. He hasn't quite made it in the NFL that level, but my biggest issue is, and I certainly don't condone dogfighting by any stretch of the imagination, but the hoopla and the criticism that was aimed at Vick was was overwhelming compared to the kind of scrutiny that Plaxico Burress got, or Ray Lewis, or who's the other one that just killed a person driving in his car, and he killed somebody. And these people essentially walk away and nobody bats an eye, and they just come back in, and everybody treats them as gods once again. And then you have Michael Vick, who, yes, not a good thing, but and you would have thought that he was Judas coming and betraying Christ, the way he was treated in the press and by a lot of the public. So I'm glad that he's rehabilitated himself. I'm glad he's apologized. I'm glad that he's trying to get his life back together, and I'm glad that Nike has come on board to try to support a phenomenal athlete, and hopefully he can take these good things that he's doing now and become a positive role model for all the young people that are looking up to him. So,
Daniel, what would your girlfriend say about this? It looks like he's sort of making a comeback. You think that's fair? I mean, he's done his sentence, so to speak, literally and figuratively, and it's time to let him have his life back. What do you think?
I think she'd say it's all a publicity, act or stunt. I think she would say that he's just playing nice, but really he's not. That's what I personally think she would say. I have no input on it, really.
Okay, I think, Bret, this story reminds me a lot of Don Imus, where he lost his job. He was on MSNBC, I think WNBC, or I shouldn't say that. I forget what radio station in New York. And he basically lost his nationally syndicated show because of the comments he made about the Rutgers a female team there. And Al Sharpton and others were calling for him to be fired, and he was fired. And then after a while, he was picked up on another, I think it was like a rural cable channel in the U.S., and now I think he's on Fox Business. But when he got another gig 6 months or a year or whatever down the road, I remember hearing Al Sharpton say he had no problem with that. He said, I thought he should have been fired for what he said, but I don't think it should be a life sentence, and the guy needs to earn a living, even though he's set for life, But there's no reason why, after he's paid his price, he shouldn't be able to, resume the thing that he does best, be it a talk radio host or just being a phenomenal football player, one of the best in the league. So I guess you agree, Bret, because you're a fan.
Well, yeah, I mean, I have some loyalty to him, I guess, because of the connection with my school. Perhaps if he went to a different, played for a different team or went to a different school, I might feel differently. But I think it's just very interesting how it was Dante Stallworth. I mean, it was back in 2009. He kills some pedestrians while he's driving, and he walks away, and nobody bats an eye. And Ray Lewis kills a guy and goes back and plays for the Ravens. And I mean, Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, you just go on and on about these folks, and some of the treatment that they've gotten is nowhere near the treatment and scrutiny that Michael Vick got. And I'm not saying that it's not good to be upset about dogfighting, and it was obviously a very horrible thing that he was involved with. But somewhere I think you need to put the sanctity of human life a little bit higher than that, and we should be just as outraged when some of these athletic heroes for some of these kids are doing some of these horrible things and walking right back on the field and getting praise. So again, I'm happy that hopefully Vick has turned his life around and moved in that direction, and hopefully he'll be a model for others.
Awesome. Bret Hrbek, where should folks go if they want to find out more information about you? I guess you have to go to Facebook.
Go to Facebook. That's right. VoteHrbek.com, or just Google Bret Hrbek, and you're going to find a whole lot of more information than I ever care to share.
You should put as tags all the various misspellings or different versions. It's BRET, not two T's, and HRBEK.
That's right.
It's frequently misspelled, but if you look at this show, we've got it on the chyron under them. BRET, HRBEK, and Daniel I know you're on Google Plus, and your last name is spelled BUI. Daniel, is there a website, folks, or should they just look for that and if they want to add you or ask you a question? Because I notice on your site you have a lot of advice for folks who.
I do have a shorter link. It's G+.2/BOOEY. It's just the phono, the way buoy it sounds, BOOEY. So G+.2/BOOEY.
Okay, cool. And another way for either of these guys is if folks, if they're on the show, they could probably find me if they're going to listen to or watch the show. And I'll have, as soon as, Daniel, we have each other in a circle, so you could find him that way. And Bret, as soon as he signs up, I hope he will add me to a circle. And I will be, but I won't know. See, one of the best things is you don't know what circle. See, he could have, Media Jerks as the name of the circle and have me in there, and then he could have Daniel in Crazy Foreigners or something, and we would have no idea, and we'd still be friendly to Bret because
and you can actually choose to not show which circles you have. So if you have like a circle with like 1,000 friends in there, like you went around and just started adding a bunch of people, you can choose not to show that on your profile. So on your profile, it'll say people in Daniel's circles, and it'll be like 50 people. It won't say 1,000 people. So you can actually choose to hide that too on Google Plus.
Cool. So we both, all three of us, even though Bret is still circling the tarmac, waiting to land on Google Plus, but. Yeah, I'm excited. Last question, Daniel. You said your girlfriend is a Facebook fan. Are you good? Is she going to be an adopter of Google Plus, or is she diehard? Ain't leaving.
She actually likes it, but since they closed off invitations, she doesn't have any friends on it. So she's kind of lonely on there. But yeah, I don't think she even uses Facebook that much. I think she only uses it for games. So.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It's sort of the chicken and the egg thing. If it becomes popular, it will become popular because it's all about where all the people are.
People will just follow everyone else.
I think so, too. Hopefully they'll follow us here. So it's not just us tech geeks on Google+. We'll get some regular folks, some of our tech widows and et cetera who sit and watch us on the computer all the time. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate Daniel giving us a call from Vancouver. Are you calling on a U.S. line, or that's a 401? Is that a Canadian number?
No, I actually called you from the phone feature on Gmail.
Okay.
I didn't want to hold my phone the whole time, so I figured I'd just call you from my computer.
Okay, cool, awesome. And then Bret, I want to thank you guys both because as soon as I end the show, it's going to hang up on both of you. So Daniel, thank you very much for. I hope to have you on again. You're great, and I recommend folks check him out on Google Plus because he's got lots of advice there, and it's just
me.
he's great. Time. All right, awesome. And Bret Hrbek, thank you very much for joining us. Vote Hrbek if you're in Front Royal, but most of our viewers and listeners are not, so you can just sort of cheer them on the way Bret does Michael Vick, I guess.
For
right.
different reasons.
Yeah. All right, awesome. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone listening. We're trying to get on. We're in the process of getting on iTunes. We're not on iTunes yet, but this is all archived on YouTube. And if you, the links to the live players, because the show's live at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, U.S., or 5 p.m. Pacific Time. If you go to McDermottReport.com, McDermott report.com, then I've got links to the players in the YouTube archive. So thanks, guys. And we'll have you up. Should be up in about an hour. Appreciate it. And y'all have a great. What time is it in Vancouver?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock p.m.
Yep.
Oh, so it's early for you. It's 9 o'clock here. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, guys. It's been great, and thanks to everyone who's listening or watching now or in the future. We'll see you or talk with you, and you're welcome to call anytime. I'm Dan McDermott, and this is the McDermott Report.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
And that's it. Okay, guys. And we are done. Thanks for the folks watching on YouTube. All of our new Canadian fan, our viewer in Canada. All right. Have a great one.